Hi, I'm Laura Amoriello, and thank you so much again for your interest in this short video series, 3 Things to Do Before You Practice. This is the second step, remember your why, and I hope it will be helpful to you on your musical journey. So to start, we'll recall the first step from the previous video, grounding. I'm going to stay facing you to demonstrate, but if you prefer, you can face your instrument, in which case you'll want to find a good distance from the keyboard and adjust the height of the bench so that your forearm is parallel to the floor and you have a slight curve of the wrist going down into the key. So you can take a moment to find a good height and distance from the keyboard. And in grounding, we're basically getting physically ready to play. We're settling in. So we talked about finding the sits bones. You can do some rocking, side to side, or front to back, till you feel centered on the sits bones. The posture is tall and dignified, but also relaxed and natural. Sometimes that can be a tricky balance, I know, for me to find. So I like to think of it as taking my seat with confidence, claiming my space at the piano. And sometimes that just puts me into a nice, natural, confident posture. So you have the sits bones. Secondly, you have the feet flat on the floor. And third, the hands will just rest in the lap. When you're playing, the hands will of course be on the keys. But for this pre-practice exercise, we'll just rest them here in our lap to settle in. And then we took 3 deep breaths. So you can do so at your own pace. No special technique here. You already know how to breathe. So just 3 breaths. If you need some energy, you can focus on the inhale and where you feel it in the body. Do you feel it in the nose? Do you feel it at the back of the throat? Do you feel it in the chest? Do you feel it in the diaphragm? And if you need to relax, you can lengthen your exhale. So we talked about blowing through pursed lips or an O. You can envision a straw also. So let's try for our 3rd breath here, lengthening the exhale. And that can be helpful for relaxing, especially if you're in a rush, which we often are. So remembering our why. I just mentioned being in a rush. I know it feels like a luxury to me to take the time to remember why I love to play. There's a bit of resistance in me that says, well, I don't have time for that. I have to practice, which is kind of funny because it's the point of why we're practicing. So even just taking a minute to recall that, or a few seconds, can make a difference in how you feel at the piano. So let's try it. To start, you can recall a fond musical memory. Maybe it was a music making experience that really stands out to you as a joyful, energizing experience that you had. Maybe it was a performance that went really well. It could have been a collaboration, maybe in a choir. Maybe you were accompanying someone, orchestra, playing in a band, anything, making music with others. And it doesn't have to be a performance. I think that's where many of our minds go, because there's often a For many of us, there is a performance that sort of helped us, fall in love with making music, but it can also be much simpler than that. I used to love playing Christmas songs for my family, and sometimes that's where my mind goes. Just the simple joy that I got out of that. No pressure, no perfectionism, just fun playing the piano. Maybe it's a fond memory of a teacher or a family member who was particularly supportive, a friend. Anything that comes to mind for you. Just that original joy that you felt. And as you're reflecting on this, you can check in with the body and see just how it feels. How does it make you feel physically to recall this experience? Do you feel calm? Do you feel energized? Any other feelings that come up? And where do you feel it? I get a little heart beating a little faster thinking about how much fun it was to play those Christmas songs, for example. So just notice where you feel it. So I'm feeling more energized. You might also be experiencing a calming feeling. You can sit with that for a moment. And as you're ready, we'll bring the reflection into the present moment. So what is your motivation now to play? Why do you play piano? And if you're not sure, that's okay. It can change for many of us. That's why we're trying to recall that original motivation. So if you're not sure, you can stick with your memory. Just sit in the hopefully good feelings of recalling that experience. But if you do feel that there is a sort of updated motivation, a reason that you love to play, you can take a moment to reflect on that. Again, noticing where you might feel it in the body. And you can sit with this as long as you like. When you're ready, maybe taking one last cleansing breath to let go of the exercise. And hopefully you feel a little more ready to play. I hope this exercise has been useful to you. Please feel free to let me know. Thanks again for your interest, and I look forward to seeing you in the third step, self-kindness. See you next time.